All right. Quickly, I want to talk about. I used to talk about these people, but we stopped watching the show. So, but I've seen some things in the trending news platforms in the past few days. So I wanted to talk about it. Let's talk about Martell HOLTZ and Melody HOLTZ. Sorry, it used to be Melody HOLTZ, but they're now divorced. They're on a show called Love and Marriage Huntsville on the OWN network, and I'll give you a quick recap of what we watched on that show when they started the show some years back. How many years is Love and Marriage now? Tima used to be the one to tell me that she watches it. How many people? Anybody here watches Love and Marriage Huntsville, or you've seen it in passing? Love and Marriage Huntsville. How many years? Let me see if I can find it. Love and Marriage Huntsville has been around for, let's see, they're on season 7 right now. Does that mean 7 years? Not necessarily, right? I'm trying to see here. They've been around for a while, but part of the people that really launched the show is this lady you're looking at on the screen, Melody HOLTZ, ex-HOLTZ. She's ex-wife now. She changed her name back to, which was one of the issues. Okay. But basically, this show was supposed to be about marriage, showcasing a few couples, right, that were living in Huntsville, Alabama. They were real estate professional, showcase their business, showcase the ups and downs of marriage, okay? And before they could finish second season or so, they basically exposed that this guy has had an affair, extramarital affair with the same lady for 5 years before that point in time. So they pick up the pieces. They fought back and forth with each other, picked up the pieces. She got pregnant. By the time she delivered the baby, they were separated again. They're now divorced. Okay. So, and they've been divorced for a minute now, maybe 2-3 years. I'm not sure. But this is what is going on the shows, and what I've been seeing in terms of the online drama represents what divorce looks like for most people. Most people are trying to run away from their problems, but then it seems like the problem is them. Right? Most people try to run away from their shadow, but imagine trying to run away from your shadow, right? Every time you look around, there you are again, because your shadow is your shadow. Regardless of what side we're talking about, it takes, when people say it takes two to tango, there are certain contexts where I push back, right? One of those contexts is when it's time to put in your own effort. I said, no, your effort, right? Remember what I just showed you, the stock market, your effort is a straight line. You just focus on that. Sometimes the ups and downs of real life, the result you create, it's not going to look like your inputs, but you have to understand that there's commitment, there's consistency, and there's discipline. And then if you keep it up, it doesn't have a choice. That if you're on the same path, if you're on the right path, of course, it doesn't have a choice. It's the only way is upwards, But most people, they think short term. They think 3 days. I'm the only one that I've been putting in all the effort in 3 days. It's time for somebody to reciprocate. And this is why I push against give and take. This is why I push against it takes two to tango. I said, what do you mean by it takes two to tango? Eventually, yes, it takes two to tango. You're talking about the result you're looking to create, but you're not focusing on your own input. It might feel like you're the only one tangoing in the beginning, okay? But when you understand the result that you get from long-term commitment, if you understand that in life in general, there are principles, and the ups and downs can take you out if you're not strong enough. That's the reality. Okay, that's the reality. So they've been up for 2000. Thank you, Jerry Marriott. They for 2018. I watched that show and I wish she would stop filming. He is dangerous. Oh, he's dangerous. You think? So I'm looking at a report here. I do think he's dangerous. By the way, but I want to apply some empathy here. The person that's going to need the most empathy from me is particularly because of where most people kind of like predict my angle is going to come from. I'm always going to hold men accountable. Why? Because they want to be leaders. Okay, so they are responsible. Just it's just what it is. They're responsible, right? Because they want to. You want to be a leader. That means more responsibility. Ladies, you want to compete with a man in leadership and call it no, it's partnership. I want. Well, that means more responsibility. Just as long as you're willing to take that on, that's fine. But I doubt if it's gonna work. Just a doubt. It's possible. I just doubt it. Because you probably don't want a man who can be a leader either, right? So I have a tendency to hold men accountable in general. So he's going to need my empathy because of that, right? Because if he was here, like, it's not just about this guy, by the way. It's about all the Martells in the world. They need empathy. They need you to, like, don't pander to women, And I'm like, don't pander to women. How about leave the woman alone for a second? Let me talk to you, brother, for a second, okay? Let's look at the results you have been creating, right? Like, I know you have a good heart. You are, quote unquote, a good guy. Gang, I want Tyrese, right? You're a good guy. You never did anything wrong. You tried your best to be a good man. Unfortunately, your results are speaking otherwise, right? And unfortunately, it's going to sound like I'm saying it's your fault, but this has nothing to do with that. I'm just trying to give you to potential, like, maybe look at how you move, maybe like in the blind spot you can see empathy is failing me, but you get the gist, right? There's something I'm trying to help you see here, and it's in a blind spot because you're a human being like the rest of us, rightfully so. You're caught up in your feelings. So if somebody drag you with the water, you want to match energies. You want to match energy in the same breath, claim to be the leader. You see the discombobulation is not adding up, right? So I'm looking at the report here on hotnewhiphop.com. It says earlier on this month, Love and Marriage Huntsville star MARTELL HOLTZ was arrested in Alabama. According to the Madison County Sheriff's Court, he was booked on charges of third-degree domestic violence and harassing communications. All right. He was released only 3 hours later after posting bond. Now, keep in mind, they have 4 kids together. Okay. And he has a 5th kid that was born shortly after the last bond that she had with Melody, right? And that was born by the person he was having an affair with. Okay. So now, the cheating, as always, this is men of prestige, so I don't do judgment here. I just kind of point out maybe you can move a different way, right? So you can create a better result, right? The cheating is not really my concern. If you cheat, there's consequences. Very simple. It's wrong, and there's consequences for cheating. One of the consequences, well, you might end up with a child that many human beings will consider illegitimate. You see what I'm saying? That's just what it is. If you're a woman, you cheat, well, your issues are probably deeper than that before you cheated. It's low self-esteem, usually. That's what leads to stuff like that. So I'm not here to judge you on that. I'm just here to tell you that when you end up in crisis in life, crisis created by your own hands, your own bad behavior. We all have bad behaviors. When you end up in that kind of crisis, you have to be willing to face the consequences with your full chest, especially if you're a man. You should know this as a given. You should be willing to face the consequences with your full chest, but it's not really the sin or what you did, it's how you respond to that crisis. And you're not no different. Like the rest of us, we're barely ever prepared for crisis because we were told that it's a Hollywood or Nollywood movie. It's supposed to be perfect, happily ever after, and even if I commit a wrong, they're supposed to be nice to me and forgive me as fast as I want it. Well, the reality is that that's not how it works, right? You're going to have to be patient, be generous with patience if you know you've committed. And by the way, they may never forgive you. You should know there's no guarantee here, right? But that shouldn't stop you from living a wholesome life, okay? It shouldn't stop you from picking up the pieces and making the best out of the cards you've been dealt. And this young man is struggling. We're still reading the news, right? He was released only 3 hours later after posting bond. Regardless, the arrest prompted plenty of chatter among fans, particularly surrounding who pressed the charges. Regardless, the arrest prompted plenty of chatter among fans, particularly surrounding who pressed the charges. At the time, the identity of his accuser had not been released. Interesting. All right, now it's speculated that his ex, Melody, is the one accusing him of domestic violence. They had their fair share of ups and downs in their marriage, and throughout their subsequent divorce last year, she filed for a restraining order against Martell, accusing him of child abuse. Now, somebody's going to come here and say, hey, you did not follow the story. You know the details. Please teach us in the comment area. I'm just going by what I'm reading right now and the little I know from when I used to watch the show, okay? So pardon me, I'm sorry. There's some lessons we're going to extract off of the limited information I have here. I know you're a fan. I know you know all the story. Share with us as much as you can in the comment, and then we might just take that on the next episode of, talking about this, okay? The defendant has used objects to hit his children hard enough to draw blood. And I quote, the defendant has used objects to hit his children hard enough to draw blood. He has spanked them excessively, and he has used slurs and other insults towards his children as discipline techniques. Our filing read. All right. Now I want to play this video. There's a small video here that I think I should play. Let's see.
Move.
Oh, no, I got it, man. Why are you acting like that?
Quit recording me. Like, don't keep recording me like you gonna put me out on blogs or some shit. Don't fucking record me. Don't. So record this, okay? Since you never.
Oh, you gonna tap my?
No, chill out. Don't play. No, don't play with me.
Don't make things worse.
I will.
Okay.
I will. Call them and get my money moved back to the account.
No, it's our money.
It's split 50-50 like it's supposed to be.
We didn't split the $150,000 50-50. What? Why are you messing my shit up? Don't do, man. Stop, Mel. Mel, don't do this shit.
Today I'm going.
Don't.
Quit acting innocent.
No, I'm saying don't do
Quit
that.
acting like you have not pushed
No.
me.
No, do not. You go ruin the.
Call.
You go ruin this furniture.
Call. And I can go. I don't care.
You
Call.
go ruin the furniture. No.
Call.
Do not put that on. Oh.
Call now. I'm not playing with you about my
Very, very bad. Okay, it's bad on both parts, right? It's bad on both parts, but for me, this is the matter of prestige. You're a man, you pull out your phone. If you feel that unsafe that you have to pull out your phone already, we talked about that when it came to Jamie Perkins. If it's so unsafe that you have to pull out your phone and start recording, you shouldn't be there. I don't care if it's your house. This is where some lame one will say, well, I'm not a coward. No, you're a coward, literally. Then you become a coward, literally, at that point in time. Because now you're fighting with your mouth. You're fighting with your emotions. That's not going to fly for you. That's not going to work out good for you. Your environment, the resources you have does not add up to that. You're going to generate bad results. It makes no sense. No, it's only making sense to you if it makes sense to you because you're lame. You don't understand how this world works. You're caught up in your feelings. Leave your feelings on the side for a second. Just think a little bit, have some foresight. When you pull out your phone, you feel so unsafe and you pull out your phone, right? Write out 5 different possible results you can generate from that. You can end up in jail. You can end up dead. The person you're dealing with, they are caught up in their emotions. Oh, Ola, hold them accountable too. No, shut up for a second. Let me hold you accountable, right? You can end up in jail. That person can end up there. You can end up dead. If children are in that vicinity, they can end up badly hurt. Have you noticed that I said nothing about if you're right or wrong?
Oh, you're right.
Right? It has nothing to do with if you're right and wrong. That's what you go to a court to do, especially if you're already divorced. Right? If you're already divorced, the best thing to do is you use the laws. And it's going to take time. It's not going to be contrary to popular belief of the lames. In court, they're going to take their time to go through your case. Once you end up in that space, you're going to have to be extremely patient. But that's the best option for you. You don't want to be using this emotional stuff back and forth. It's not going to work out for you. So what part is she responsible? The same goddamn thing. The same thing. But when everything else fails, I'm guessing you want to be a leader. Why don't you lead the dance you're looking to see? Whoever wants to be the leader should lead. Meaning you lead with stop. Stop everything. De-escalate everything. And sometimes de-escalating means you walk away from the situation. It's temporary. And if you don't like it, you can just look at why we're making a report on this today. Is that really what you want to keep doing? That's a coward move. I'd rather just face it. No, you're a coward. Because you're only thinking with your emotions in this present moment. And that goes for whoever is trying to claim leadership. It could be the man or the woman. You pick one. So what's the role of the woman? Well, you should be leading your own life. You shouldn't put yourself in harm's way like that. You shouldn't have a bat in your hand. Because again, one wrong move, anybody can be taken out and somebody might end up in jail for the rest of their lives. This kind of stuff pisses me off. It does. Let me see here. So that was that video. It says child during this interview with... Okay, so he put out this video to make a point. Let's talk about that. Okay, let me read the report. Now, however, Martell has sat down with Tasha K, a blogger, to share his side of the story. The obsession with having to share your side of the story is going to get you in trouble, even if you're right.
Well, you're right.
Okay? You're going to get in trouble. And let me tell you something. When you do get in trouble, you're going to drag all those children and they're going to be involved. And that's the worst, that's the saddest part about the whole thing. All right? He accuses her of being abusive towards him throughout the divorce process. Even recently, unveiling footage of some of their altercations. So he brought this video out to do what? To tell the whole world that he was right all along.
Well, you're right.
Are you confused? If you're that right, why do you need everybody else to agree with you that you're right? If you're really that right, if you need everybody else to agree with you that you're right, your only best bet is the court. Not Tasha K, not any blogger, not me, because I already don't think you're right. Okay? I say you're right because you're obsessed with it. You want me to tell you you're right. Okay, you're right. Okay? But your results are wrong. Everything is wrong. You have your ex-wife accusing you of drawing blood because you were disciplined. Even if she's lying, the picture of your family is terrible. You have to do something about that. That's all you should be focused on. Not if you're right. If you're right, okay, you're right. There's nothing to argue. Now, what about this result you're generating? What are you going to do about it? In the footage, Melody is seen attempting to damage some of their belongings during this agreement, including furniture, a large potted plant, and more. This is bad behavior, ladies. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you're trying to destroy stuff, you're throwing stuff at the wall because you're angry, is bad behavior. Okay? Obviously, you ended up with somebody who doesn't know what he's doing, who does not know how to keep his household together. You obviously end up, so you don't have the resources of acting mad when you know that person's going to match your energy anyway. You need to back off of that situation completely. Never mind what's going to happen. Don't worry about that for now. Back off of each other. This is what it looks like before you see fatal affairs, before you see a fatal ending, or you see all those crazy shows that you guys watch. This is what it looks like. People throwing tantrums, throwing stuff at the wall, say, yeah, I'm angry too. Call them right now. Call them. If you have to raise your voice, it's already too late. Just leave. Just leave. Go and sleep in a hotel room for the night. So if this was happening after they're divorced, what do you think happened when they were living in the house together? Somebody said, no, it's because he's just pissed off because she left. No, you've always been exactly that person, if not worse. While the full episode has yet to release, he also accuses her of cheating on him in the teaser, which was posted on YouTube yesterday. You want to crucify me on this? And I quote, you want to crucify me on this show when you know you was doing the same effing thing. All right. So he's more concerned about that he's a cheater.
Oh, you're right.
Okay, you're not a cheater. Okay, you're not a cheater. All right. The whole world says you're a cheater. What are you gonna do about that? You think you can convince the whole world you're not a cheater? Like, imagine what you're investing your time in, pulling out those videos, pulling out receipts that she cheated on YouTube. That's not going to help you. It's going to make you look more like a wussy, like the coward that you are. I'm not talking about Martell, all the Martells. I'm talking about all the coward Martells out here. The tit for tat thing, it doesn't work in any type of relationship, including relationship with your exes. The relationship with your ex required the same amount of work, if not more, for the sake of your children. Forget the marriage. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The marriage is over, it's over with. But guess what? Welcome to the real world. You still have to manage this relationship. You can use the court if you want, or you can learn how to sit down in mediation. It's completely up to you. But you're not gonna skip this work. You're gonna get this work. Okay. So I don't know if he truly was punishing his child in a way that, that drove. I don't know that, because people lie against each other when they're in that kind of funky place. It doesn't matter. What we can see right now is nasty. And then releasing videos of your ex-wife, the mother of your 4 kids. Let me bring the empathy back. Tell me, what are you trying to get from that? I'm talking about all the Martells, not this Martell. I don't care about this guy like that. He's a star. He'll be fine. Okay? I'm talking about you, that you end up watching this video. Either you're the man or the woman, right? When you pull out all this recordings, all these screenshots and all this stuff, and it's not being presented in court, you're pulling it out to do exactly what? When you have children with this person, like, what's the goal? Ola, you just don't understand. Some people, you just need, they will tell you you're lying to yourself. I get it. That's the whole point. So like I told you, it's probably going to take you a lot more. It's going to require more of you to manage this relationship in this space right now. So a couple of things. If you're not yet married, okay, these signs were there all along. This kind of toxic, extreme stuff, the signs were there. You need to pay attention. Talk to someone. If you're already married, hey, welcome to the real world. Okay, you probably are terrible at managing your relationship. Well, just disengage and start learning how to manage your relationship. Okay, because even if you leave that marriage, you're still gonna need that, right? That doesn't mean you shouldn't leave. That's not the same thing. Okay, sometimes you need to leave. Let me see here. Sometimes that's what you need to do. If people are not willing to match up to your level of growth, you need to leave them behind. But remember what I just said, growth, right? You're not running away from your problems, okay? If you run away from your problems, that's like running away from your shadow. It follows you everywhere you go. There's a whole light beaming on you all the time. That shadow will follow you everywhere you go. Okay, but if you've made it clear, if it's clear to you, you've seek the help you need, and that's that person's problem, then that means you're growing. Then they deserve to be left behind. That's not going to be easy, but that's still what you're supposed to do, particularly for the sake of your kids. Okay, you don't stay in a manipulative, destructive situation because of your kids. You're destroying your kids if you do that. Anyway, I just wanted to catch up on the love and marriage Huntsville thing a little bit because we used to cover that story here heavily. Let me see. Chia says, I can't stand this fool. He will start up the pot and start to record and sounding all calm. Yeah. You know, all he needed to do for me not to believe him is to go to Tasha K. That's it. What do you mean? So men can't speak up? No, they can't. They have to do that within controlled environment. They can, but not. They can't do that outside of controlled environment. Okay? All of this 20 million monitoring spirits, you will get this work. And it's going to backfire. It's going to work precisely against you. Okay? Not only does it work against you, it works against the whole family, including the ex and the children. So, but that's your responsibility. Is that what he revealed in the Tasha K interview? Man, you've been divorced 3 years. Yeah, moving on is the hardest thing for human beings to do. I call it letting go sometimes, right? Letting go is one of the hardest things for human beings to do. And that strength or weakness is going to be tested if you end up in a divorce. It's just what it is. So it's a major work that you have to put a focus on if you end up serving breakfast or collecting breakfast, you know, when children are involved, of course. Chinye, he's not bright. We see him losing his mind on that show anytime her name comes up. He's obsessed with. Yeah, somebody said he's still in love with his wife. But being in love is not necessarily a good thing. It depends in what context are you in love. In love can be obsession, right? In love is not the same thing as loving a person, right? In love, it's essentially just feelings, right? So if you're still caught up in your feelings about how somebody is moving forward, yeah, we could probably label that as in quote, in love. But is that a good thing? No, not necessarily. Not in that context. That's dangerous for you. See how cool he was acting because he was recording. Yeah, because he was a cameraman, right? We've always touched on that here on this platform. Who's recording? Why are they recording? What was the motive? For evidence. No, Rito. Nope. It's manipulation. What they need to do if it's that unsafe is to leave. Okay? Unless it's ADT or ring camera that's recording and you're not the one that positioned the camera, then it becomes valid. But you're the one that put the camera on the stand. Or be you're holding it like this. No, you're just toxic. Like the rest of them. And you're enjoying the toxic vibe that's going on. It's like drug. You know that something is wrong, but you can't pull out. Pause. He's a manipulator to the core. Pulling out camera when you feel unsafe is definitely manipulative behavior. That's what that is. No, I know you're going to come back and tell me you want evidence that it's been going on for so long. The court wanted you to collect evidence. Trust me, if the courts want evidence, they have other ways of doing it without putting your safety at risk. Safety first. And especially safety of the kids first. But I want to know what your thoughts are. If you know some more about this story, like I said earlier in the middle of this segment, please educate us in this, because again, I haven't been watching the show because we don't pay for cable anymore. But I see a little bit on YouTube here and there every now and then. I love the show because we get to see what these toxic things look like to some extent. You know, somebody said they staged it. No, they didn't stage it. Nope. This is they just want they are getting some kind of money from being on that show. They wouldn't really be in scenes together if not because of the money, but the money is a magnifier, sort of kind of like social media, right? The money is a magnifier, so it is what it is, you know. So they're there to collect that money, but more so, everything that's been magnified are real. Those are all real behavior. Don't get it twisted. Okay. All right. That's what I. So, what do you think? Share with us. What do you think? What's your opinion about this, guys? What do you think about Melody? I want to hear from you if you feel like Melody is doing too much. I think she does too much, personally. I think Melody gets a lot of she gets a lot of passes because this guy doesn't know how to move. This guy will not stay clear so we can see Melody's true color. He's telling him to stay clear, but he keeps interrupting the whole thing, you know. But I feel like Melody also is she's a culprit in all of this, And I know that Melody fans out there are not going to like that when I say that. But please disagree with me respectfully. I want to hear your thoughts on it. And then we'll take it from there, you know. Yes, I'll be back in 20 seconds. Yep, we got some more to talk about.
It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.